What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Week 6 LOL Esports DraftKings show. I'm KamG again. I'm joined by the Wise Take League of Legends expert, Gov. How you doing?
Good. I haven't really felt like an expert recently, but we're getting back on track. I cashed a little bit on Monday. Got some good games tomorrow, so let's see how we do.
Yeah. Have you looked at the week at all? Do you like any games specifically, or?
Yeah, I kind of like this weekend as a whole. I think it's like some pretty good games in general, and like we're kind of getting a good sample of what teams are kind of going to do this season and how they're going to trend the rest of the season, hopefully. So should be a little bit easier going forward.
Yeah, the start of it was like the start of the second half of the split.
Yeah.
The second games last week, right?
Yeah, so the start of the second round robin in the regular season started with each team's second game last week.
Yeah. So is Cloud9 still undefeated, right?
Yeah, Cloud9's 10-0.
I saw the TL game. They dominated Dig. It was nice to see, at least for a change of pace, because I've been waiting for them to do that the last 3 weeks, and they haven't. Yeah, I don't know. I looked at the games. They should be all. I don't know. I'm looking at all the games. They should all be pretty close. I kind of like all of them, so we'll have to see. But we can start it off here with FlyQuest versus Cloud9. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, so standings-wise, it's the first overall team versus second overall team. I don't think that talent-wise they're the number 1 and 2 seeds, but right now FlyQuest is playing really well. Probably the best I've seen them play in my 3 years of watching LCS. So they're up there. They got a pretty good chemistry going on now, but I just don't think that. I think Cloud9 loses at some point in the split. They're not going to go undefeated, but I just don't think that FlyQuest have the people to do it. I think that it's going to be same old with Cloud9. I think that they're going to win pretty handily here. I think you can play anyone in Cloud9. I think that if you wanted to get a little contrarian, I think that FlyQuest might hold some value, but I just don't see any singular lane where they have an advantage. And so I don't know where they're going to play towards. So I just don't see a win condition for them.
Yeah, I don't think FlyQuest will win the game. Like you said, they're technically the second place team or whatever, but I don't know. I just don't see them being the actual second place team. I feel like maybe what helped them is they had a good grasp of the meta early on in the season, where other teams didn't really have a good grasp. Because I look at their roster and they're not bad. They're definitely a playoff team, but I just don't think they have enough firepower to hang with some of the top teams, especially C9 the way they're playing. So I agree. It's tough with C9 because they're the most expensive team, so you're gonna have to pair them with value if you want a full stack.
Yeah.
So I in any league slate, it just comes down to if you're gonna be able to full stack Cloud9, if you like a team, if you're willing to take a shot on a cheaper team in the later games to kind of pair them with, because you're not going to be able to do that with some of the more favorite teams as well. So we'll have to see if we can find a team stack or something that we can pair C9 with. But yeah, I just don't see FlyQuest really hanging in there with C9. They're just playing way too well right now. So that game's pretty straightforward. C9 should win pretty handily, but they're also the most expensive. So this next game's pretty interesting though. TL versus TSM. Probably more a couple of the top teams in the LCS, maybe near the end of the year or end of the split coming up, maybe once it's all said and done. So I'm interested to watch this one tomorrow. How do you think this one's going to turn out?
Yeah, so a couple perennial top teams in the LCS, Team Liquid and TSM. They faced in the championship of the spring split last year. Kind of both had up and down seasons. More so, Team Liquid for sure. They got their jungler back, Broxa, but they've still kind of been up and down. They finally looked decent on Monday in their win, but I don't. I want to play like TSM, but like I just don't. These are like games that you can predict TSM to win, but they just lose. Like they're a good team, but they never seem to like win the games that are against like another opponent that's like at their caliber. Like they never really like show like their ceiling. So I don't know. I like obviously I lean TSM because I'm a TSM fan, but I don't. I almost want to like try to avoid this game. I don't know. Like I think you'd have to play like lineups on both sides of it in order to feel comfortable. I just don't feel that either team has showed me anything that they can take care of business against a team like one of these teams. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. TSM just beats up on like the bad teams and then they'll lose to like the good teams. So I think TL will win tomorrow. I think finally like TL's realized that they just got to get double lift, like a champion that does damage. I feel like the first half of the split they were like playing him on dumb champion. Like I'd be surprised. What are they 4-6?
Yeah.
Something like I feel like 4 of their losses were when he played like Senna, and then 1 was on like Callista, and maybe 1 was like playing like a normal like ADC
it was on
or
Ashe.
something like that.
It was on Ashe actually.
Yeah, like what the fuck? So they just give him like if they just give him like MF or like I don't know, like someone that actually does damage, like they should be fine. They're honestly they're kind of just inting drafts at the beginning of the year and like not playing around double lift at all. So I mean, if he gets like a ADC that does damage, like he's gonna do well. So I think you can play TL for sure. That's who I would take in this game. That's who I think is gonna win. And I would stack the bot lane with like Jensen and Broxa probably, but Jensen and double lift would be like my main priority in that stack because I think Jensen's actually playing pretty well this split. But I don't know. We'll have to see. It's
one thing,
double lift for sure.
One thing to say is like TSM is so cheap. Like I've never seen Bjergsen at 6'8" before. Like I don't know, like
sure.
You can easily fit C9 TSM, like so easy. And I mean, you could probably fit TSM or C9 TL. I haven't really tried, but like I know that it's like relatively easy to fit C9 TSM. So like maybe that leads to TSM being higher owned. I don't know, but like I don't know. It's just something that we're gonna have to think about and definitely have to tune into this game to see how it plays out because I'm really interested to see how like the quote unquote new and improved TL is against like a team that's actually a good quality.
I feel like if TSM wins this game, it's probably gonna go pretty long. Like so, it's even better value if you think they're gonna win at like those prices because it should be a pretty long game. If TSM wins, I don't really see them like stopping TL to the point where like it's like a 30-minute game or whatever.
They don't know how to.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's going to be a bunch of kills in that game if TSM wins. So that's an interesting point. If you think like TSM is going to win that game, I don't know. I'm just never like a TSM fan in like games against other good teams. I've watched them lose all the time, so I just don't really believe in them. We can move to the next game. Immortals versus Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians is pretty inconsistent, and then Immortals has been like a team that started off really hot and then kind of has sucked down the stretch. I don't really know what's going on with them. Both of these teams are kind of just up and down. Not really consistent at all. Can play well some games and really play terribly other games. So I don't have a good read on these teams individually. Each, but like, what do you think about both of these teams? And are you targeting anyone from any of these games?
Yeah, so just one quick thing to note. I saw on Twitter that the owner of Immortals, or maybe the coach of Immortals, announced that Apollo is going to start over Altec at ADC. So just one thing that DK haven't added Apollo to the player pool yet, but definitely something to watch for. But yeah, I think you hit on it. Like both these teams are like really inconsistent, and I think that like GGS has some decent players. Like I think Closer is probably like a top 3 jungler in the league right now, since like Broxa and Dardoch and Svenskeren are kind of inconsistent right now. So I think that he's really good at that position, but I just don't really think that they have any carries. So like Golden Glue, like last week was just dying all the time. Like he like had 2 like really bad deaths, like that I specifically remember. So I don't know how many times he died, but like it just seemed like he was dying all the time. And like I don't know, I just don't. I don't know. Like I think that GG wins this game, but like IMT, so IMT is like a really good record, but I don't think that the record like accurately reflects how good they've been playing this split. Like I don't really think they've been anything special, but they have a pretty good record. So I mean, I'd like to think GG wins. I know last time these two teams played, I was heavy on GG, and I had like all my lineups had the nuts, and I needed GG to do anything, and they lost because I believe this was the first Soraka top game that we saw in the LCS. Yeah. Haunter played Soraka top last time these two teams played. So
I won't do that again.
No, yeah, I don't know. So I lean GGS, but like I really don't play anyone on their team besides Closer and Haunter. Like that's usually one of my like go-to like value stacks is Closer Haunter, but like I think that Soaz can be targeted in the top lane, and I think that Ica can be targeted in the mid lane. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Golden Glue kills Ica a couple times in lane, just because Ica is not very good in my opinion. So I really want to lean GGS, but like the X factor is Xmithy, right? Because so whenever Xmithy like does stuff in the early game, that's when they usually win. Like he goes around and gets good ganks off, and then just like snowballs the game from there. And he's like he's not necessarily mechanically talented, but he has a lot of game knowledge that like he doesn't put up like huge stat lines, but like his movements and his like craftiness is what gets them wins. So like he's kind of hard to read, but that's kind of a long-winded answer on saying that I like GGS.
Yeah, I would probably favor GGS too, by a little bit, but like it's honestly hard to say because like both these teams are so inconsistent. I remember the game with Golden Glue you were talking about. Like I'm pretty sure in like the mid lane he got ganked and then like tried to hold on to his flash for like a really long time and it was just like taking a ton of damage and then like decided to flash at like the last second and then got killed anyways and then came back to lane and then like shoved in the mid wave lane and then got ganked again and like didn't have his flash. And he was still like lane and like died like once like right away again. I was just like, what are you doing? Like it's just like stupid stuff like that can just make a team that's supposed to win just automatically like shift to underdogs just because you like in like 10 minutes and it's just like you're at a significant disadvantage. So that's the hard part about like league is like when you're talking about some of these teams is there's theoretically like favored, but then you just get people that do stuff like that and it's just like who knows what's gonna happen. In this game, I feel like junglers probably pretty even. In this matchup, I'd say I'd favor top lane. Just favor probably all lanes, honestly, besides jungle for Golden Guardians. So I don't mind them, and they're pretty cheap. So I guess I could see myself going there a little bit, but I mean, at the same time, like I don't get thrilled about playing Golden Guardians whatsoever. But I feel like that could be a stack where if you like wanted to play C9, like that team works because they should be in position to technically like win and produce some kills against Immortals who've been slumping now after a pretty hot start. We can look at the last game here, 100 Thieves versus EG. Another kind of interesting matchup just based off of the aspect where they're kind of two teams that aren't like the best, but also aren't terrible, I guess. In this one.
Yeah, so another kind of like matchup of middlers, like EG and 100 Thieves. Like EG coming into the season, I was like, oh, this team has some pretty good potential. Like I think that they're lacking in the top lane, but like the rest of their lineup is like pretty good on paper. So I thought that I had really high hopes for them coming to the season. They haven't really lived up to that though, but like 100 Thieves has been like definition of up and down. Like I think that they've like won one, lost one like every weekend, except for maybe one. They lost two. But yeah, so this game, I don't know. Like I haven't really been tracking how good Vegas is at predicting like over under for kills, but as it has the second highest over under for kills, second to Cloud9. So that's something to look at. I think that EG is kind of in a good spot in this one. I really think that they have. I think it's safe to say they had the matchup, like they had the better players in each matchup, except for maybe top lane. I think that Someday is definitely one of the best top laners in the league. Like last weekend, he had a huge game on Lucian. He kind of like 1v9'd in that game. So I really think that it can be won by EG. I'm like that's probably the stack I'm going for. I'm trying to fit it with C9, but I'm having a little bit of trouble. So like I would say it's a second quote unquote safest team after C9. So that's where I'm kind of looking right now, is kind of how I can fit C9 and EG together. You might have to sprinkle in like a one-off of somewhere else, but I think that EG and C9 is relatively easy to fit. So I like the EG side for sure.
Yeah, I think this is the game with like good value that a lot of people might not go to. It's the last game, and like I could see a scenario where like each of these teams win. So I'm not gonna say like I think either one's gonna win necessarily, but I do see like it's not gonna be like a methodical win. So I think there is a chance for a lot of like scenarios where a lot of kills go on different players here. So I do like somewhat of a stack for each of these teams as like a secondary to a C9. And like 100's pretty cheap. Like they're dead. They're like almost last for everything. So you can play them with like C9 really easily. Mm-hmm. And then Evil Geniuses too. I'm assuming they'll have ownership just because they're playing 100 Thieves, but I like this game. Probably my like I don't know. It's probably like my favorite game, I guess, for like DFS maybe, but not just like I'm not excited to watch it necessarily, but I like both. I could see like both of these teams doing pretty well in like a somewhat of a high kill game. So I don't mind that. Where GG and Immortals, like I could see that game kind of being like a dumpster fire and like not very high kill because both teams are pretty inconsistent. I don't know if either of them really know what they want to do. And then TL, TSM, they're both kind of priced up. So for like DraftKings purposes, it's a little bit harder. I guess TSM isn't priced up like when you're talking about, I don't know. I just think they're a little bit high still for the matchup against TL because I don't think they're going to win. Mm-hmm. And then C9 is like the highest priced team. So I'm looking at this game and it's kind of like the one that I'm looking at in terms of value that I kind of like. So yeah. I have a good amount of interest in a lot of these players on these teams, but I'm with you, like some days always too cheap. in the top lane. He's like 5'4" or something. That's too cheap for sure. And then I don't know. I always like playing Bang. Like I have like a weird thing for him, but he seems to always be like a tier lower than like a lot of the top tier ADCs, but he can still get like a 40 or 45. So
yeah,
I don't know. I kind of like him. Um, Double Lift is fourth still. It's just funny. He's gonna start playing damage.
I don't know.
Start playing damage champs and like just start murdering that price.
Yeah, I don't know why Altec is. Well, Altec isn't starting, but I don't know why he's over Double Lift or KamG. Like,
yeah,
it's just.
I feel like at this point of the year, like the DraftKings like pricing to it goes by like DVP. Like look at like it's like the 9th and the 8th like teams are gonna make them like the 2nd and 3rd like whatever, and then they have like KamG and Double Lift and like those guys like okay whatever.
And they probably have like some like low guy on the totem pole just like generating these salaries in it.
Yeah, this spreadsheet with like DVP.
Like, he like closes his eyes and like picks a random number.
Yeah, but I don't know. It should be a good. I'm excited to watch the games tomorrow, specifically the TSM TL, and then that's definitely going to be like the premier matchup of the day tomorrow. Is going to be that game, so I'm really excited to watch that one. That one should be fun. I'll just like run through your maybe like top couple at each position, and then we can head out.
Yeah, sure. So top lane. Do you want me to leave out C9 or do you want me to keep in C9?
Just keep in C9. Just say like whoever you like. It doesn't matter. Okay. You don't have to.
All right. So Licorice, and then I have this thing for Broken Blade. I just think that he's like one of the best players in the league. He actually like smoked Impact last year in one of the matchups. He like absolutely like murdered him. It was actually sick. But so Broken Blade I like. Someday at 5'4", I think that's way too cheap. I just don't know who I would stack him with. And then I'm kind of warming up on Hanser. Jungler. I like a lot of junglers. So I like Blabber, Svenskeren. I think Brox is fine if you're going to stack TL. I think that Dardock's fine if you're going to stack TSM. And then I like Closer. So a lot of versatility at jungle. I think that you can get a lot of different kind of combinations in depending on what kind of stacks you want. Mid lane, I think I would just go Niski, and then like Jensen Bjergsen are kind of like even. And then I kind of want to say Golden Glue, but he's so inconsistent. So I don't know. I'm also not a very big Jizuke fan. Like I know he's like okay. I guess he's played some decent games. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't like how he plays.
Yeah, so I think I would just stay with Niski and then Bjergsen Jensen, whatever side you're going to stack from that. Another position where you can play a bunch of people. Like I think that obviously Sven, Bang's pretty good. You can play either side of Double Lift KamG. I think that TSM like tried to like mimic like Double Lift by getting KamG. Like KamG's not like the best laner, but he's like the late game carry, so if they can just make it to late game, he's gonna get off his damage. Especially like I think the last time they played TL, they had a couple solo kills on Double Lift like in lane. So if they can do that again and kind of like snowball that lead, I think that's something to watch for. So I like KamG. He's also always like 8K and now he's 6'8", so that's something to look for. Like I think that there's some value there, especially if you think TSM's gonna win, you're gonna stack TSM. I think that maybe if you're playing Someday, then Cody Sun is a possibility. I really like Someday. I just don't I don't trust Meteos. I think that he's not very good this season. I don't like Ryoma. I don't really like Stunt either. I think Stunt always dies for like whenever someone's like caught out on 100 Thieves, stun is always the one that dies. Like he's got 4 deaths, 4 deaths, 3 deaths, 6 deaths, 6 deaths. Like there's just so many deaths there. Like you have to just take that and just roll with it. But I don't know if you'd want to one-off someday, but that's something that we could talk about later, I guess. So I guess moving to support, like Vulcan is fine, Zazel's fine, and then Core JJ, Biofrost are fine. Yeah, I think that's. I mean,
what about your boy Keith?
So I guess you can think about Hakuo because, like, so him and Apollo have played some like stupid amount of games together. I think it's like 80 or something in LCS. So like they just have natural chemistry. So like I think that's something to look out for. They played together at Echo Fox.
Yeah.
So that's something to look out for. I wouldn't touch Keith with a 10-foot pole. So that's something I also wouldn't do. But like, I mean, he's definitely been playing better. I just think that at any time he can go like 0-7-3 like he did in week 1. So
he's about to get thrash and just clap cheeks.
Yeah, I don't know. He's fine, I guess. He wouldn't be my first pick.
No.
And then team slots. So let me get your opinion on this. I'm kind of thinking about like playing C9 in the team spot. So like, or in the captain spot. So like, if you look at their game logs, like it's constantly like 25s. Like obviously it caps your ceiling, but it's 8-7 in your captain spot, and you can legitimately play any combination of any player from any team that you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's definitely something to think about. I was telling that to Stevie the other day. Like I think that with them like getting like all like they've gone 4 dragons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well,
6,
they just
7,
play around objective so well.
Like 11 games in a row, they've gotten at least 4 dragons. Like, I just think that it's wild. Like, I think
it definitely works. It's just like I feel like you just have to look at like how you think the slate's gonna go. If you think it's gonna be like a lower kill slate, then that definitely is like that's definitely an option because if you get like 27 times like half of that or whatever.
It's like call it 43. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's just as much for the most part as like what a lot of captains get at 10 some K, like when they get like 44s or whatever. So
Blabber gets like 40s of like, I mean, he can get like 60, but like
you're only going to get killed if someone goes off for like a 55 in the captain. Yeah. But for the most part, like they're priced efficiently to the point where like the guys who can get 55s are like eight some $1,000. So
yeah,
they're going to be like 12K in the captain.
Right. And like I wouldn't play like TSM in the captain role necessarily because they like seems to me like they can see dragons a lot, but like Cloud9 always fights for dragons. Like they're very proactive around the map. Like they secure objectives. So like I think that it's kind of viable in my opinion to play them. Like especially on this slate, like I don't really think there's going to be a lot of kills outside of maybe the EG game. Like I think that the TSM TL game is going to go pretty long, but I don't really see that game getting over like 20 kills. I don't know, maybe, but like I think that like not having to force in like value that you don't really want to play just to fit in C9.
Yeah.
Like I think it's viable to like play a team slot in the captain spot.
No, I definitely think it makes sense for sure. And like I don't know, just like watching how the LCS is too. There's not like a lot of like high kill like pop off games, like there are in maybe some other leagues. So no, I definitely think that's viable. Just take the 40 from like an $8,000 captain slot, and then you can play whoever you want. Like it makes sense. Like maybe not in like that big $12 tournament with like 2K to first, but if you're playing like a smaller like ish field, It makes a lot of sense because you're just going to be taking the points where a lot of people are going to try to get like a higher price guy in the captain that you could easily just match with your team slot in the captain.
Right.
So
Yeah.
no, I definitely think it's viable. Like I wouldn't say it's not. It's just it all comes down to like the situation and like context of the slate and like how it ends up turning out. Like obviously if there's someone that pops off or whatever, then you're dead. But also that could happen. It just depends what tournament you're playing into. Like some guy pops off, like odds are if you're playing a small field, people won't even have him in the captain and you're still fine. So like I don't know. I definitely think it's viable. Any last words about slate or anything this weekend before we head out of here?
No, it's going to be interesting to see like teams seeing each other for the second time and kind of shaping up before playoffs. Like I think they'll start to take it more serious and like, well, hopefully they do. But like, like this season technically doesn't mean anything in terms of like the world championship qualification, but like I think that teams are definitely gonna like start taking things that they've learned from the first half of the split and using them in like this last playoff push. And like I think that they want to have momentum going into the summer season, like that they can make worlds and maybe do the impossible. But like I just think that hopefully like teams are proactively making plays and making decisions that are gonna help their team in the long run. They're not just like trolling us in draft, which is really annoying.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel like some of these teams, or like TL specifically, they like had fun or whatever the first half, but now it's kind of like, all right, we have our full team together. Like they still want to make playoffs. Like they're not gonna like not want to make playoffs. That'd be embarrassing. So and like I don't know. At the end of the day, it's like it doesn't mean anything, but like they still want to like win the split. I don't know. They're not gonna just like troll and end. Like I think they're gonna start turning it around. So I'm with you.
And they need to like do good to make playoffs. Like they're in jeopardy of missing playoffs, which would be very embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly. So
especially because they
definitely need to play well. So it should be a fun one to watch tomorrow, specifically TSM and TL. But I think that kind of wraps it up. Broke down the 4 games, kind of an idea of what teams do attack. But you'll have your finished product cheat sheet on wisetake.com tomorrow, probably mid-morning, a little bit afternoon, but definitely before the slate starts at 4 o'clock tomorrow or 5 o'clock Eastern or whatever you guys are out there. And if you could you give a thumbs up to anyone watching this right below Governor's face? Just it takes like 1 second, and we greatly appreciate it. So for Gov, for me, we're out.
Yeah.